One of the stories I often share with my leadership coaching clients is the refrigerator story. The story often comes up when they're facing a really difficult challenge or a challenge that keeps coming up again and again. And often they feel bad that they haven't resolved it. They feel like a failure because they still have this issue or that this issue has come up at all. When in reality, these are just the challenges of leadership, and it is the practice of leading. So this is the refrigerator story. A number of years ago, I was talking with a friend who had just redone his kitchen. And in the process of moving the old kitchen out to get it completely redone, they had bought a new refrigerator. And as they were getting to move into their newly renovated kitchen, they realized that the new refrigerator they had bought didn't fit in the spot. And so he had this refrigerator that was less than a year old, but he couldn't use in the new kitchen. So he said to me, "Would you like to buy the refrigerator? I'll charge you half of what we paid for it. It's less than a year old. It does have one ding from when we moved it in, but maybe that'll work for you." And I thought, this is great. This is a great deal. I can live with the ding. It's a much better, newer refrigerator. We help him out. We benefit. This is the same size refrigerator as we currently have. This is an easy win. And so we exchanged some cash, and we got a group of friends together to help move it out of his house into a truck to my house, move it into the kitchen. When we moved it into the kitchen, we had to move our old refrigerator out into the garage. So a lot of hard labor and me calling in some favors for some friends. And as they all left and I tried to get ready, it didn't quite fit, and I didn't want to bother them. I wanted to let them move on and go on with their lives. This was about 11 o'clock in the morning. I spent the rest of the day fussing to get this refrigerator that was the exact same size to fit in the spot. I finally got it into the spot in the kitchen, but the door would only open about a third of the way. It just kept rubbing against the wall. I tried leveling it in different ways. I tried to adjust it. I tried tilting it this way. I tried tilting it that way, putting things underneath it. I fussed with this thing all day long and couldn't find a way to get the refrigerator door to open without bumping into the wall. The only way I could resolve it was by removing the molding on the wall around the doorway to the kitchen that was bumping into this. So I removed the molding, and you could see where the drywall imperfectly met the doorway, but we could get the refrigerator door open. It was the only solution. And at 8 o'clock at night, I stood there so frustrated. I lost my whole Sunday. This upgrade to our kitchen was supposed to make the kitchen nicer, actually make it look less finished and less refined. I was super irritated that I had lost the day. I was super irritated that this upgrade was now a downgrade. And my partner said to me, "Did you meditate today?" And I said, "No, of course I didn't meditate today. You've seen me. I've been working on this all day long. This has been my whole project. My whole day's lost. Of course I didn't have time to meditate today." And she smiled and she said, "Are you going to look at that gap between the wall and the door every single day?" And I said, "Yes, every single day." And she said, "Is it going to bother you every single day looking at that and realizing it's not perfect?" And I said, "Yes, every single day. I'm going to look at it multiple times a day. It's going to bother me. It's going to irritate me. I work from home. I'm going to see this dozens of times a day. It's going to bother me every single time." And she looked at me and she looked at the gap and she said, "Well, there's your practice." I remember being so deflated and thinking, I wish you weren't so right in this moment. Because for me, every day I would see that gap and have that frustration rise in me. And I would hear her voice saying, "There's your practice. I can meditate in theory, or I can meditate and not let this thing bother me. I can let it accept it. I can see as it is the way that it is rather than the way I want it to be, not argue with reality." All these things I say to others and myself all the time. And so the gap between the wall and the door that I needed to create so the refrigerator door could open, and how it frustrated me and bothered me and bugged me, and the imperfection and the unfinished and the money I spent and the work and time, it was a constant reminder of the practice I had to do to be who I want to be in the world. And so I tell that story often to my coaching clients and say, every time you have this challenge, It's just practice. Every time someone bugs you with that thing, it's just practice. Every time your boss lets you down in this way, it's just practice. All of these challenges, we think as leaders, if we do it right, we won't have challenges. Absolutely not. The challenges, the difficulties, the miss between espoused values and enacted values, the miss between what a leader says and what they do, the miss between what people say they want and what they follow through with. All of these are the realities of leadership and what we need to navigate. And so I often tell that refrigerator story so that when my coaching clients bring up the challenges they're facing and feel bad that they're facing these challenges, or they haven't figured out, or they keep having them and they feel like they should be past them and they shouldn't have these difficulties, I remind them, it's just practice. These challenges are here as gifts to you to help you learn and grow and evolve as a leader. And so the next time you face a really difficult leadership challenge that you feel like you don't want to have, or shouldn't have, or should be done having by now, you should have this figured out. And what is wrong with me that I don't have it figured out? Just remember, it's just practice.